Hello there, I'm Jeanette Lane, a craft designer at CraftStash, and today's video is a special one. I am looking at two friends. This is the Bigshot, Sizzix Bigshot die cutting machine, and this is the Sizzix Foldaway machine, and I wanted to share the similarities, the differences. They're both amazing machines. I use them both pretty regularly in my videos, which if you've tuned into the CraftStash YouTube channel, you know that these are always in the background somewhere. And yeah, so I'm really excited to dive in and just kind of explain the differences between these two machines, which they're both fantastic. I think there's still some confusion as to the differences between the two, so hopefully you will get a better understanding of the two machines today. So let's dive right in. Die cutting machines are definitely a staple, a craft staple. I truly believe that every crafter, every craft room should have a die cutting machine because they're so versatile. There's so much that you can do with them. You can die cut, obviously paper, but you can also cut fabric, you can cut cardboard, felt. You can do so much with them, and what's great is that both of these machines cut all those materials. They're virtually the same, except there are some differences, and it's mostly to do with size. If I turn the Bigshot to the side, it's a little bit heavy on the heavier side. It's definitely heavier than the Foldaway, I think, but what you can see is that the platform is long. It has a long platform, but the working surface is still 6 inches, the same as the Foldaway. Now, if I turn the Foldaway, you can see it's really compact. It's great for if you don't have a large craft room or you don't have a lot of space. Maybe you craft on your coffee table, just like me. I craft on my coffee table at home or on the ground, honestly. I love working on the ground for some reason. I feel like I can spread out. And so the Foldaway machine, the little handle actually is like that, and then it clicks open like that. And then the platform opens up and locks into place. Hear it click, boom, and then it functions the same way as the Bigshot. But there are a few differences that I'm going to highlight very quickly. Mainly, it has some cool storage flaps underneath the platform itself. So these lift up, and it's a great place to hide some crisps. Just kidding. You can put some dies in here, some washi tape, a small pair of craft scissors. So that's just a nice little function. And even if you close these up, if you lock them back into place, your stuff is still going to be safe inside. So I thought that was really brilliant, really helpful. Here I have my two machines opened up, ready to go, ready to get to work. I love how these little handles are facing each other. I can work twice as fast. I feel like I'm rowing a boat. Sorry, guys. So back to the video. So what's great is that the two platforms here, they're the exact same width. So you're not losing any surface area if you get the Foldaway, and vice versa. It's still the same. And also the platforms are interchangeable between both. So the accessories that come with them, like the multi-purpose platform that comes with the Bigshot, it can still fit in the Foldaway. So here is the multi-purpose platform, and that fits in the Foldaway. It doesn't have anything on it, so it just goes right through it, but it also fits on the Bigshot. One of the big differences is that the Bigshot machine comes with a multi-purpose platform usually, and so this is different than the platforms that come with the Foldaway. But again, they are both interchangeable, and they also have the instructions on what you need to make the right sandwich, whether you're die cutting or you're embossing. It tells you right on the platforms what sandwiches to use, so you will always know exactly what to do. Before I demonstrate both machines, I wanted to share one last major difference, and that is that the Tool Caddy, this accessory caddy, which is sold separately, only fits on the Bigshot. So that is a common question, whether the Tool Caddy, which is great because it has all just some extra storage space for you to add some scissors, washi tape, things that you need on hand. I use this caddy a lot. It's usually overflowing. This is actually pretty tame for me. And what's great, again, is that the caddy, the tool caddy, attaches to the Bigshot, but it doesn't work on Foldaway. But that would be amazing if Sizzix could develop something like that. I think that would be really helpful. I'm removing the caddy out of the way. I don't want to confuse anyone. I'm just going to stick it under my desk, and then that way I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. The caddy does not come with the Bigshot, but it is a great add-on addition if you would like to purchase that separately. I highly recommend it. So before we jump into the demo, I wanted to share some things that come with the Foldaway. So we have the platforms, which are helpful, and you can emboss, you can cut wafer thin dies, you can cut steel rule dies, and it comes with cutting pads, and it also comes with some wafer thin dies, some thinlit dies, as well as some felt, colorful felt, some fabric, a steel rule die, and some cardstock, some patterned cardstock for you to play with, which I think is really great. And I love that they do that because they want to show you that it does cut all the things that the Bigshot can cut. And I'm going to demonstrate that in just a second. So now I'm going to do a side-by-side demonstration so that you can see how both machines work, how they both do the exact same thing. But again, the main difference is the size, the compact size of the Foldaway, but they're both reliable, great quality machines. So first I'm going to cut with my steel rule die. So I have my steel rule die here, and this came with the Foldaway. I have a piece of cardstock. Now for this, the sandwich is the same for both. So you're gonna need 2 cutting pads, your steel rule die, and a piece of cardstock, and I'm just gonna run this through my machine. So I'm doing the Bigshot first. And it just rolls right through really easily. And then you get your shapes perfectly cut out. Well done, 1 point for the Bigshot. I'm just kidding, we're not gonna keep score because they do the exact same job. Okay, and now the same thing with the Foldaway. So I have my steel rule die, my 2 cutting pads, and I need a piece of cardstock in the middle. Oop, sorry, there's a hair. Interference, there's a hair in my mouth. Whoops. So now I have my cardstock right there, my cutting pad, and we're gonna run it through the Foldaway. I feel like the Foldaway is just a smidge smoother. It just feels like there's not that crank sound when you're working with the Foldaway. Now this could be either because there is a true difference between the 2 machines, or that the fact that this machine is a lot newer than this one. So I'm not sure, but they both work the same either way. So there we go, our shapes. Well done, Sizzix Foldaway. 1 point for the Foldaway. Next up, I wanted to cut some fabric, also using my steel rule die. It's a challenge to cut fabric using a wafer thin die, but definitely you can use steel rule dies to cut multiple layers of fabric. Actually, you can probably cut up to like 5 layers of fabric. I'm only gonna do 2 layers. So 2 layers of fabric are right there, right on top of my die. And then I have my cutting pads, making my sandwich. I'm gonna roll this through the Bigshot. It's gonna cut really easily, rolls right through real nice. And then you get some really great shapes. Oh, I love die cutting fabric. It's just so fun to just add a little bit of like texture to your cards, or if you're making a journal cover, you can just add a little bit of glue and glue that on the front. And then it's just a fun element, a fun texture to add to your card. So now let's do the same thing on the Foldaway. So again, I have 2 layers of fabric here. Got my steel rule die and my 2 cutting pads, and I'm gonna roll that through. Easy peasy. I could do this all day. I kind of do this all day sometimes, which is really fun. I'm really lucky. I love my job. All right. So, nice. Look at that. So equal pressure, equal cutting pressure on both machines. These butterflies are so cute. Aren't they adorable? I love that fabric. Oh my goodness, adorable. Whoa. So now that I've showed you that the machines can both cut fabric and cardstock, I wanted to demonstrate embossing with an embossing folder just because it is a little bit different, but only in terms of the sandwich that you're gonna be using. So for that, I'm gonna grab some more cardstock. Now when you emboss with the Bigshot, you use a multi-purpose platform on tab 1. So you're gonna open that up, and the directions are on clearly printed, displayed here on the platform, so you won't be confused. And then I need an embossing folder, which I thought I had, but it's probably under my desk, so let me check. Where'd it go? There you are, found it. I found the embossing folder, and I am using Christina Griffiths Leafy 5x7 embossing folder. Very nice print, I love this one. So I have my embossing folder. I'm gonna put my cardstock right inside, and then I need a cutting pad on my multi-purpose platform. I'm gonna put my embossing folder with my paper and another cutting pad on top, and I'm gonna roll that through. Ooh, there we go. There's a little bit of pressure, but that's just normal. I'm just gonna roll that through. Okay, so let me show you, let me do the big reveal. We have a nice piece of embossed card. This is a great way to make some easy, quick cards. So there is nice embossing. Well done, Sizzix Bigshot. And so now I'm gonna emboss on the Foldaway, and the main difference is the platforms. So here on the Sizzix Bigshot, we used the multi-purpose extended platform, which you can also use on the Foldaway, but the Foldaway comes with its own platforms, and you just read on here, look at the pictures, and you only need the standard platform for embossing. So we're gonna put the standard platform down, have my same embossing folder, and a piece of cardstock right inside. And then the picture says you need a cutting pad and another cutting pad on top. So we've got the standard platform, cutting pad, our embossing folder with our paper, and another cutting pad on top. And then we're just gonna run this right through. So we're just rolling this right through. You do sometimes have to put a little bit of muscle into it, but not too much. So it's not terrible, but you feel that pressure pressing into the paper. So the embossing folder is pressing into the paper, and it's making a nice texture on our cardstock. Oops. You want to be gentle in there because sometimes it gets really stuck in there and you don't want to tear it. So same thing, same great impression on both of these. And lastly, I wanted to show how you can cut wafer thin dies with both of the machines, and you can see the differences. Again, it's just the platform, the sandwich that you're using, but both will cut perfectly. So I'm gonna be using the extended multi-purpose platform for my Sizzix Bigshot. Getting confused a little bit between both of them. My cutting pad, a piece of cardstock, and then I'm gonna pull off the, it looks like a petal, like a flower petal die. And I'm gonna put that right on the cardstock. Let me show you, that will be helpful. And then on top of that, I'm gonna add another cutting pad. And we're just gonna roll that right through. You can hear it clicking. That's just the pressure of the machine cutting through the paper. All right. And here is our die cut, very nice. Now for the Foldaway, I like this, it's like, oh, going back and forth. Now for the Foldaway to cut a thinlet, you need the standard platform that comes with it, as well as this little tiny thin platform. So again, that's the difference between both when you're embossing and when you're die cutting, is that you do need to make sure that you're using the right sandwich. So then we're gonna add a cutting pad on top of that. Sorry, a little confused for just a bit. My cardstock, let's just use the same cardstock as before. My wafer thin die on top and another cutting pad. And then we can roll that right through. Again, it's clicking because it's the pressure cutting through the paper. So don't worry if that happens. Sometimes it clicks really loudly and it sounds like maybe you've broken either your machine or the die, but it didn't. Oh, I didn't do a good job lining up my paper there, so let me try that again. Now, it wasn't the machine's fault, it just ended up shifting as I rolled it through, which is why washi tape is great to have on hand. You can even store some washi in here in the little storage area of the Foldaway. So helpful. Okay. So here is my die cut, perfectly cut by the Foldaway. And again, the big difference is the size, of course, of the two different machines, but also the platforms that you use. But you don't have to be confused because you will get the necessary platforms with your machines, and the directions are always printed with some really helpful diagrams on the front so that you're not confused about what sandwich cuts what. It's pretty clear. I know it might be a little intimidating, but as you use it more, you get more comfortable, and at the end you're like it. You don't even think about it anymore. You know what sandwich is for what. I hope that this video gave you a better understanding of the different machines. Maybe you're on the fence about getting the Foldaway, or maybe you don't have a die cutting machine and you want to pick one. So these are great to start with if you're a beginner crafter or if you don't own a die cutting machine. I highly recommend them both. And they're both available at craftstash.co.uk, where you'll also find heaps and heaps of inspiration and how-tos. I'm Jeanette Lane. I will see you all real soon. Bye.